All right. I want to learn about CSS Flexbox now. Um, yeah. Okay. So it's very helpful if you want to make responsive websites. Yeah. Okay. It's built right into CSS. It's not a framework. It's part of the things that's built into CSS, just like grid that helps you give layout rules and column to your pages. Flexbox, yeah, it's also built into CSS. Okay, so there are some features: flexibility, arrangement and aligning of items, proper spacing, order sequencing. Okay, you see Bootstrap, which is a CSS framework, is built on top of the Flex layout. Yeah, it's cool features. Okay, yeah, there are two major components: the Flex container and the Flex item. Yeah, we'll practically explain this in our code and it will make more sense. So the Flex container, which is um, what we house the Flex items, is these are the properties, the CSS properties that are there that are available for use, right? So these are the all of them, not all of them, most of them: display, flex direction, flex wrap, flex flow, justify content, align items. You're using justify content and align items a lot. And okay, align content. So these are the properties of flex item, which is the items that are inside the flex containers. Right. So yeah. Okay. So I think we can do some examples so to drive this home, right? So let's just jump into our code. So and let's add some things here. So for this now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a section. Yeah, inside this section will be the flex container, right? Container is similar to like table or form, or yeah, it's going to house all the content that you want to work on here. So this it can be anything. This can be div, but it's going to be something that we house every other thing you want to work on. So flex items are the things that are inside. So I want to make three divs, and each div we have um let's do an each one. um so let's see. Okay, and inside of this h1 can be probably what we are working on: html. So I'm going to duplicate all of these twice, so I'll call this css, call this javascript. Right, so these are three divs inside of this, right? Okay, cool. So if I save this and run this code, let's see what we'll be getting. Right, so these are three divs. So what I want to do is I want to make like three boxes, right? I want to make them boxes. So let's see how fast we can work with this. So so the first thing I want to do is let's give them a class name. So I'll call them the same thing because I want them to be the same. So I can call this box. You can just call it box. So I can duplicate this, right? So let me copy and paste here and here. Okay. So I can start working on the box. So for me, I want to use the external style sheet because I prefer external style sheet because it makes your code clean. If I want to add the inline to make this thing crowded, if I want to add internal, I'll be having a lot of code here. But style sheet is cool. So the first thing I will do here, I can just say dot box. So remember, for class, if you add a class, yeah, like you said in our past video, you have to add a dot before the class for it to work. But if you are using just tags, you just put the tag like that. But if you are working on ID, so for instance, sorry, for instance, if okay, if this div, yes, it's now this section now, I can give it an ID of, let's say, flex. You can actually call it any name. Yeah, so I can call this flex. If I give it an ID of flex, if I want to use it in CSS, I need to say hash yeah flex. That's how it works. So for classes CSS, you use dot when you want to call it, when you want to call the selector. But for ID, you use this. Is this called hash, right? So that's it. So we can work on the box. So let me work on the box. I want to give it a border. I'm gonna give it a border of 1 pixel should be okay, right? 1 pixel solid, a color of 50/50, right? So let's see how that looks on our code. Yeah, it's very big. So I don't want it to be big, so I can give it a width and a height. So let's give it a width of, let's make it a square. Let's do 500 pixel, and a height also 500 pixel. So it's also still big. Mm, so I'll do 350. But you can see what we are working on is displaying. The main point I want to drive is the flex, and we are going to do that now very soon. So I just want to get this. Okay, this is cool. Yeah. So one thing I will add here is margin. I want to add a margin around them, so I can call this, give it 20 pixel margin, so they can be space between everything they are joined together. So if I do this and save, you can see there's now a space between them, which is cool. So let's jump into flex now. So to explain this properly, this is the flex container, like we spoke about. All of these divs, right? All of these divs, this one with the class name of box and box, they are the flex item. So if you go back to the slide, you see that there are properties you can use in flex container, which is this. Container is what houses the flex item. Flex items are the content inside the flex container, and we have 3 here. So for the flex container, let's practicalize this. Yeah. So what I want to do display flex, display flex, and see what display flex will do. So if we should go back to our code and run through our slide, you will see some things here, some properties of the flexbox container. You can use flex or inline flex, which is what I'm using now. So let me save this and see what flex will do. Okay, we are you. So this is what flex does. It aligns it on a straight line. You get, initially it was horizontal, Yeah, and there are other things we can do, yeah, with this. We can add content also inside here. So let's add some content. But I don't have time to be creative and put content here. So inside a p tag, I can use lorem, lorem to give me some dummy data, right? And it's very long. Let's cut it a bit. Yeah. So I'm going to copy this and duplicate it in the others. Yeah. So let's save and see. That looks okay. But this box is still very big. Now for the, you can decide to style it better by adding padding. So what padding we do, see everything is close to the box. So you can move them from the box a bit using padding. Padding. Let's do should we do 10? Let's do 15 pixel padding. Yeah, it's looking better. So I want to adjust the size. Size is really big. Oh. Let's take it down to 200. And let's see how 200 looks like. So I'll do a square box, like I said. It's not looking small. So I will stick with 250 now. Mm, it's fair enough. So these are the three things we are learning, yeah, in the course of this internship. So all these things were not really planned. I'm just running with the flow. So this is this. Then I think, which other property can we play with? Yes. Okay. Flex wrap. What flex wrap will do is it will help you wrap your stuff in the container, right? But we'll play with this in the course of the internship. We'll play some of this other content. Justify content would yeah, we'll play with most of this, but yeah, these are the basics. So you can click on this and check some examples and get better insight.